No promises, but we're not going to talk about the Red Sox as much today. More about the Giants.
I hope we don't talk about the Red Sox at all after their performance last night.
Nope, don't say it.
Maybe they should have. Maybe they should have kept Devers so they could score a run.
Actually, you know what? That reminds me, because I don't think we'll have time for this later in the show. Who's the MLB home run leader right now?
Cal
Raleigh.
Cal Raleigh.
Grand slammer. And, fun fact, he stole his 8th base already. So I think he's on pace for 20. Big dumper, 20 stolen base pace. And 8 stolen bases is the franchise record for stolen bags by a catcher, previously set by
Miguel Olivo.
I'll give you a hint. He's still involved with the org.
Dan Wilson.
Dan Wilson?
His manager. Fun fact. You like that?
It's good. It's a neat story.
Yeah. Cal and Rowdy with stolen bags.
Rowdy.
Rowdy.
Rowdy's one ever. It's amazing.
I think Rowdy, do you know how many he has? 8-year career. Do you want to guess? I think I know the numbers. So I'm not going to say.
4.
I believe that he has 5, but let me double check to confirm here live, and it is 5. So you guys were 1 up, 1 down. Good job. Anyway, before we get to top story, foulterritoryshop.com has a lot more to offer than it used to. So in case you haven't given it a look, baseball the way it should be, covered shirts, a variety of cups, hats, stickers, the lightweight hoodie that was heavily recommended by many of you out there. You even got the beanie. But give it a look, foulterritoryshop.com. There's fair territory gear. The Mets show has gear. The Dodgers show I was watching last night at 1:30 in the morning has their own gear. Yeah. Dodgers show was lit last night. Dodgers territory. If you just want some entertainment for half hour, go check that out.
They were on fire in Alana?
They were trash talking the Padres to the highest degree.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a Homer show. It's a Homer show. And they know that the Padres are good. They know the Padres could dethrone them, so they just feel a little bit more on edge.
The Padres are starting to lose steam a little bit. They need Darvish and King back, and they're.
I mean, the Yankees are losing steam right now too. They'll bounce back. I think they're a good team.
Well, the Yankees just can't score a run. They need Aaron Judge to get some hits because if he don't hit, they don't score.
Exactly, which we'll talk about later too. Let's start with everyone's favorite name in baseball this week. Charge the mound time.
Charging the mound.
I'll play anywhere. Rafael Devers is a San Francisco Giant. He was smiling as he's walking through with the pyro, smoke, whatever, into the ballpark. The organization there supporting him, clapping. I'm sure there have been conversations already with Buster Posey and company. And then, of course, he says the famous quote, "I'm here to play wherever they want me to play." Is he not going to be a man on fire?
You would hope so. I love that he got Barry Bonds walking him into the clubhouse. I mean, he got everybody. He got all the big dogs out there. So what happens when you're a star and you get traded and they want you to be comfortable and they want you to hit and they treat you right?
Mm-hmm. Seems simple.
This is how he wanted to be. This is that his intro there on the orange carpet. That's how he wanted to come into the Red Sox clubhouse. Or wait, no, that's how the Red Sox thought he wanted to be. All he wanted was be talked to, told what's going on. He didn't want a grand entrance. Giants are like, hey, we'll give you a grand entrance. You don't get the starting DH for the American League traded to your team in June that often. You might as well pull out all the stops.
Yeah, and from what I recall, they generally hold on to franchise players in San Francisco.
If you go there and do them right and treat them right and play good and win a World Series, they usually keep you around. Brandon Crawford, Brandon Bell, Lincecum, all those guys. Posey, I mean, obviously.
Sure.
But, I mean, Pence and all those guys, they signed deals because they helped them win.
Bumgarner.
Well, Bumgarner, then they let walk, which is surprising.
Well, they waited too long.
An original extension.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But then the next go round, they didn't. Although, in fairness,
they
he
were right.
fell off the map. So sometimes, I mean, same thing with Lincecum. People were calling for that for a while, and he fell off the map too.
Mm-hmm.
Pitching a little
Matt
different.
Cain they kept around, though.
Matt Cain they kept around. Yeah. Logan Webb is locked up long-term right now. So I'm watching the Giants last night, and I'm going, man, I'm ditching all these other games to watch the Giants. I haven't done that very often in the last few years. The Giants, I think in 2023, when our show launched, might have been the most boring team in baseball, right? Very 500-ish, very platoonish, very, I don't know the names. 23 was Gabe, right? Gabe and Farhan. And then last year, Farhan still leading the pack. Very analytical. We get
because
it.
Because 1 year, everything went perfect.
Yes.
21.
And
they won the division, and then they lost to the Dodgers in the postseason. Like, we can do this every year. It doesn't work like that. It's so hard to catch platoon magic every year because every single person has to have a great year.
Mm-hmm.
Every guy, if you're doing it as much as the Giants did it then. And if you watch baseball now, teams are they're not all going away from it, but the teams that have 9 good players, they stick with their 9 good players.
Who did that too often? A team that they know very well. And then they started acquiring superstars.
The Dodgers.
Punching them in the lineup every day.
But the Dodgers still do it to an extent, but
not like
their
they
players
used to.
Are a lot better.
Do you remember what they used to do?
Yeah. But who was in charge? Gabe Kapler.
And Farhan was there.
Yes, Gabe and Farhan were together.
Friedman was like, screw it. Let's just get superstars and put them in the lineup every day. Wait, hold up, Kratz. That's what Buster Posey's starting to do. Now, Willy Adames is not off to a great start this year. Had a bad error yesterday too. But you know the names. You plug them in every day. Chapman will be back at some point, probably for the beginning of the second half of the season. You're starting to plug in consistency to this lineup. I get it. You want to have some left-right action. Nobody's saying that you can't. But to have a full freaking hockey shift starting 9 every day from a team is boring. It does not attract fans from an entertainment basis, and it generally hasn't produced wins, most importantly. So my point was, I'm watching the Giants last night, Kratz, and I'm like, they're relevant. They're entertaining. They're relevant. And we'll see what the results are on the field. But I think they're going to be a better team with Rafi in the lineup.
For sure they're going to be a better team. This lineup needed a boost. No better person to get a boost than Rafael Devers. I mean, that double he hit, and then, of course, he comes up in a big spot late in the game, gets a knock. But the reason you platoon, the reason you try to get those advantages, it's because you're trying to get the little things on the margins. If a team has an opportunity to start a guy 162 games and have a OPS over 800, you don't need to platoon him. You just need to throw him out there, make sure he's fine and he doesn't need a day off, and you play him. Teams like the Giants who have the money and are willing to spend the money, like you guys said, on guys that you want to keep around, go out and get the players. Buster Posey has done that. He locked up Chapman's deal while Chapman was still there under Farhan. Went out and got Willie. Went out and now he got Devers. Like guys that are going to play every day. You don't need to platoon to make your whole roster when you have cash to spend like the Giants.
It's brilliant. And the Giants have been little bro status lately. They were big bro for a while. They were the dynasty. It's dynasty.
10,
they
12,
won 3
14,
titles.
But that was a long time ago. They haven't really done much since then.
Mm-mm.
But what's been the common theme? They're trying to get too cute. They've tried to get too cute. I know they've tried to sign stars, but they haven't been able to. They said they went out and traded for one. They didn't have a choice, right? But they were trying to get. They tried to get cute. Farhan is really good at what he does, and Gabe Kapler has his thing that he does too. But when you're competing against a team like the Dodgers, and I'll throw the Padres, Manny Machado plays every day. Luis Ariz plays every day. Xander Bogaerts plays every day. Fernando Tatis plays every day. Jackson Merrill plays every day. Cronenworth plays every day.
There's your basically whole lineup.
There's 7 of the 9 or 6 of the 8 position players, right? Lefty, righty, doesn't matter. They play the same guys. Look at the Dodgers. Shohei, Mookie, Will Smith, Freddie, Teoscar. Even Muncy plays against lefties.
Actually, the Padres tried to be cute with one position in the offseason because they had to save money. They got rid of Profar, and they added Connor Joe and Jason Hayward to platoon, and that has been the biggest problem.
Who's been great
fix.
for him? Derry
Gavin
Bonds.
Sheets.
Gavin Sheets is Derry Bonds, as they call him. By the way, do you know they call him Derry Bonds?
Dairy?
Dairy Bonds.
Like cow
I don't know.
That's like cow dairy.
Yeah, like cow dairy. I went up to him when I saw him in Milwaukee, and I was like, "Oh, Derry Bonds." He just started laughing. He's like, "I don't know, man."
That's fun.
Yeah. I was like, "I'm calling you that from now on," because he's having a good year.
He is.
He got off one of the White Sox, and he's hitting bombs.
Shocker.
My thing is, I'm happy for Giants fans. I think this is going to be really fun. They were bringing it last night with the ovations every AB. That place was electric.
Mm-hmm.
They lost the game by a run to a decent Guardians team that had been struggling a lot, but things are changing quickly in San Francisco. Let's put it that way. You need to win games. That's the most important thing. We also are watching to be entertained and to have an escape. And I just think that you need to keep that in mind as well. It is helpful to have some superstar players. You know they're going to be there. You buy the jersey. You know you're going to go to the game and you're going to see them, right? The Jays did that with Vladdy. That's why I had so much leverage against them. It was like, who's going to be that guy for you? I'm going to give you the production, and people are going to want to come see me and buy my jersey. The Giants are starting to build that here. Chapman's locked up long-term. Devers is going to be there for a long time. Adames is, obviously, hopefully he recovers a little bit more.
This team plays a lot, and I think historically, I think the park probably doesn't. Also, how they build a team. They play a lot of one-run games. Rafi Devers can win you one-run games. Rafi Devers on a team that is going to score like 7 or 8 runs, and it's going to be a 9-8 loss. That's different. They're going to play close games here, and you added Rafi Devers into that lineup. It's going to be huge. They may overtake the Padres before we know it.
Well, they've already passed them in the standings. They're
right.
Up the standings.
Buster Posey said that they'd been working on this trade for 3 to 4 weeks.
See, yeah, I mean, I guess, but how is this not? Listen, Buster Posey's running a good organization, because normally this would leak out from somewhere, right? Like normally we would have heard something from somebody about this. Who else did they talk to? I want to know what the other teams were, because they didn't just call it Giants.
They came out.
Braves, right?
Yep. Padres.
Blue Jays.
Padres. Yeah.
I mean,
but Buster,
Blue Jays. Okay,
they weren't going to deal him to the Blue Jays. The division thing was a factor. The Padres probably were talking about the money side of things. Like, to me, that might have been the conversation. Was AJ Preller goes, "Hey, I'll take him. We can't take on this much salary this year. Can you eat a little? I'll give you Leo DeVries or one of their top prospects." And then it goes to Henry, and he's like, "Nah, dumping whole contract." Which, that's their right, but that's where the owner's going to go on that. They want to get rid of all of the money, especially on a deal that is a fine deal. We've gone over this earlier. He's got like half the money left that compared to what Vladdy's making. Mm-hmm. Like, you can make comps with those two. Devers has been a better bat. Vladdy's obviously playing in the field, although Devers is going to play first soon. I don't know he was not a good third baseman. Do you think he can be a below average first baseman? And by below average, meaning like it's good enough to be out there. Because there's other below average first basemen that are fine.
He could play. If he played third, he could play first. It might take him some time to figure it out, but I mean, you can play first at some point. And by the way, I did a show this morning, a different show, and one of the guys on there said that he used to work at Fenway Sports Group. Mm-hmm. And he said basically that Liverpool is the team that the Fenway Sports Group has invested heavily in, but now they have Liverpool, Red Sox, and the Penguins, and LeBron is involved, and they're looking to get an NBA team to Vegas. That's their focus right now, not the Red Sox, which to hear is kind of shocking.
Meaning they're not giving as much love?
They're not giving as much love to the Red Sox as they used to, because remember when Henry bought them and they hadn't won in forever. They've won 4 World Series since he's been there. Oh, whatever. We can do this anytime. We have a new focus now. Mm. So, again, I don't know how true it is, but I take this guy for his word, because he's, like you said, he used to work for Fenway Sports. And he said he had heard things. So, which I trust the guy.
Yeah, that's fine.
He said it. He said it on the air, so.
The Sox are about the future right now. Again, that was the sell last year, and now they're selling that again. They're about the future, so it's more about next year than this year. I'm serious. That's not even a joke. I'm serious. They said it's more about next year now than this year.
You're the Red Sox. Every year should be about this year. You're the Red Sox. Also, we're not talking Red Sox, but they're the Red Sox.
3 years of this, I think.
More than that. They won in 18.
Yeah, it's 7 years ago.
Okay, but then they traded Mookie in 20 before the COVID.
Yeah.
Or 19 to 20. Then they traded Sale. They lost Bogarts. So it's been like, we're rebuilding. Devers was supposed to be the face. That's why they signed him. Then they trade him. So now they're rebuilding again, right? But you're the Red Sox, man. You shouldn't have to do this. I'm sorry.
2021, they were pretty good. They won 92 games. They lost in the ALCS.
Okay. Yeah, but I worked for them. That's why.
Yeah, that's right. It's really the post-Kratz era. 2022, 78 wins. 2023, 78 wins. 2024, 81 wins. And this year, they are one game over 500. So they're on a similar pace. It's a long time to be very mid. Yankee fans would have burned down Yankee Stadium by now.
Red Sox fans, keep showing up. Keep watching on Nesson.
Yeah. All right. Let's move to a potential sale in the AL East. Coming up next, the Rays might be moving owners. It is summertime. We are in the thick of golf season. It's always golf season down in Florida, but we're in the thick of golf season across the country, and if someone's looking to get a new club, that logo should say it all. PXG. What do they do?
Go get fitted. Mm-hmm. Go get fitted by one of their master fitters, professional fitters. I've done it. It's helped shave many strokes off my handicap. It is worth it. It's educational. You learn about not only clubs, you learn about shafts, you learn about grips, you learn about angles. They have all the numbers, all the setups that you need to help improve your handicap.
You feel like a VIP when you're there.
100%. They even help my putting, which needed help.
Mm-hmm. There. They help your putting there.
There.
That's how cool it is. So schedule your fitting today, and for a limited time, you could save up to 20% on your entire order. Head over to pxg.com/foul. That's pxg.com/foul to save up to 20% on your entire order. pxg.com/foul. Restrictions apply. See site for details. I told you, wait for it. Now I've got it for you. Yankees scoring woes. Go back to Thursday. 1-0 win. And then they haven't won since. They've scored 1 run, 3 runs, no runs. Judge is slumping.
Judge is slumping. That's it. There's your why they don't score.
They're so Judge reliant.
They don't have Soto that they had last year to help them. Look at the Red Sox series. They basically didn't score any runs in that series. And then the one run they did score off Crochet was a Judge homer. That's the only hit he got in that series. They didn't score any runs, right? And now against the Angels, he's not hitting, and they're not scoring any runs. So if I'm other teams, I'm like, this guy ain't getting nothing to hit ever.
But they have a bunch of dudes that have decent numbers. Their entire starting lineup the other day had above average OPS. Is anybody going to win an MVP? No. Grisham, 800 OPS. 796 for Ben Rice. Austin Wells at the catching position is above average. Cody Bellinger, 747. Like, a lot of guys are above league average OPS. So they're not just abysmal besides Judge.
No, but I mean, here's the thing. Volpe, he has a 737 OPS, but he's hitting 238, right? I mean, Austin Wells hitting 217, right, as OPS, right? So they're all or nothing, pretty much, because they're hitting home runs. That's why their OPS is so high.
Yeah.
It's not because they're getting on base and doing a lot of other things. It's just because they're hitting home run.
Home run reliant team.
Yes.
They can.
Hot corner time. Wow. This might be happening. The Rays could get sold, and it would be MLB's dream. They hate the Rays. True story. They have treated the Rays so differently from the A's. The name of the front runner here, Patrick Zalupski.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're in advanced talks to sell the team to this Jacksonville developer, rich man. Signed a letter of intent to purchase the team.
What does that mean? He has to go to college there?
There's a letter of intent John Heyman says, one caveat, such letters are non-binding. Stu Sternberg, owner of the Rays right now, has come close to but pulled out of deals in the past. First reported advanced talks are Badenhausen and Soshnick. There's more of a business
Do I get no
thing.
credit for advanced talks being reported? Because I reported this a long time ago.
You did. $1.7 billion is the number, which I'm guessing is more than Stu bought it for. The statement from the Rays announced that the team has recently commenced exclusive discussions with a group led by Zalewski, and they threw some other names on there, and Tampa Bay investors concerning a possible sale of the team. Neither the Rays nor the group will have further comment during the discussions. I think this is going to happen. Do you?
Someone that knows Patrick, he's been trying to do this for a while. And
Tell us everything. What do you know?
I can't tell you everything.
Tell us as much as you can tell.
He's been wanting to do this for a while. And he has been talking to them for a long time. And they've had a hard time getting Sternberg to agree to anything. And now just the fact that they got him to agree to negotiate exclusively, I feel like is a big deal. Yeah, I mean, listen, this has been something that's been on my radar for a while now. I think we kind of talked. I kind of hinted at this on the show a little bit. Listen, this is not a surprise to me. More like that it got announced because this has been going on behind the scenes. But now that it's got announced, it kind of changes things a little bit.
Will they stay or will they go?
I think they'll stay
in St. Pete or Tampa.
I think they're going to try to get him in Tampa. I don't know where or how. Again, I know they've had discussions. I don't know everything.
But you can guess.
I'm guessing. I know they've had discussions with the city of Tampa about plots of land in different places. Not necessarily because they wanted them on the water, but not necessarily on the water. But I know that they want like a big chunk of land, similar to the Battery, 100-acre-ish plots of land.
Okay.
Those are hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to put a stadium on top of it. But I think they would get to Tampa. My opinion, just from what I've heard, kind of kills the Orlando thing, which I get, but I think Tampa is where you kind of have to have them.
Yeah. The whole St. Pete thing is they were going to give them more money than Tampa. But if you have a new owner in who's not as concerned about that, then he's going to put it in the place where it should thrive long term.
He's going to put it in the place where it should work better.
Which is Tampa.
If you've been to Tampa proper, like not Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is Sarasota, St. Pete, Clearwater. Tampa, that's like considered Tampa Bay. That's why they're called the Tampa Bay Rays. If you put it in Tampa proper, where Amalie Arena is, where the Bucks play, where Steinbrenner is, it's just easier to get to. It's just there's a bigger population center there. And if you've seen a Lightning game, they sell it out every night. They're also good. The Bucks do great. Steinbrenner, we see the Rays are doing pretty good at Steinbrenner. I don't hear complaints about them like they do in Sacramento about them not drawing well. And I know people from Orlando go to the Rays games way more now because they don't have to go across the causeway, which is another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
They're like, I can get there in an hour to an hour and a half. That's way better than 2 to 2.5 hours.
Rush hour, you're saving an hour plus.
Oh, easily.
Right.
Easily. Yeah.
I got a call from yes, Mr. Polad. Yes. No, I know I heard 1.7 for the Rays. Oh, you're asking more now? 1.9? Okay, thank you. We'll let you know.
Should the Twins be worth more? Also, the Twins have a lot of debt, I will say. There's some more complications there. Yeah, they've taken on a lot more debt. I don't know how that factors in with the price.
The reason the Twins can sell for more is they have the stadium already there. The Rays have to find a stadium.
Yeah, you're gonna have to invest
and that's a big deal.
Right.
It's kind of like the White Sox situation with the Ishbias. Are the White Sox worth more? Probably because they're in a bigger market. But you got to get a stadium at some point. Mm-hmm. And then that just adds the cost. And if you don't have that set up, the owner's got to find that money somewhere. And that's like an extra $2 billion.
I think it's probably easier to find people in Tampa than it is Minneapolis.
Think about like a Battery type of thing in Tampa and how much more successful that's going to be year round, not just when baseball season's in Minnesota. Like you're locked. You're locked in there. You have the stadium. I don't know.
Well,
I'd rather own the Twins.
The whole thing with Minneapolis was that they wanted to put it downtown.
Yeah.
And they did. They forgot to put a roof on it, which apparently you couldn't do in that particular location, which I think is insanely dumb because the weather sucks there, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
You have a chance, though, as an owner, right? And if you want to be an MLB owner, you got to have a lot of coin. For this guy, he's going to put his own stamp on everything, right? This is going to change everything. And for MLB, I'm sure they're pumped. For Tampa, I'm sure they're pumped, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to bring someone in who's not going to, well, I don't know the guy. I mean, you do. I don't know the guy, but you're going to bring someone in who has a chance to actually build something special and not be so torn up with every penny and how much are we getting from St. Pete versus Tampa and turning into all this bidding. Like, let's actually just try and make something that will work. Because right now, Miami and Tampa Bay have not represented well in MLB. I think that's an easy one, right? Like they can put a better product together. We see it. The Lightning have it. The Heat have it.
The Bucks.
The Bucks have it. The Magic even have it to an extent.
When the Magic are good, there's no better place to go watch a game.
Yeah, I've been a few times.
They don't even have to be good. They got to be decent.
This year I went packed.
Yeah.
Vibe.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
the Panthers.
Possible.
The Panthers
like
are
Florida wants to have professional sports teams, and they want to feel, to me, part of the community. I don't know, and I think the Rays just don't do that. You don't go anywhere around the area and go, whoa, yeah, I got to go to a Rays game. Like, there's a lot of Rays regalia around.
This gives someone a chance to change things. So I'm excited. We'll see what happens. It's a letter of intent. Stu can back out. He's backed out of many things in the past, including stadium deals.
Yes.
But we'll see.
But I think now, I think there's pressure on him now to do this.
Well, he's got the league against
MLB,
him.
I think MLB is putting pressure on him a little bit behind the scenes on Sternberg.
No, they're putting a lot of we've basically seen reports like they're going after him.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because this keeps happening. Things keep falling through. He doesn't follow through with this. He doesn't do this. I think more than what we're hearing, though, I think they're kind of like, hey, it's time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you bought this team for like $200 million. You can now sell it for $1.7 billion. It's time, dude. Like, take your money and run. Move on. We'll get somebody in here that will help us get to the next level in St. Pete, because Manfred is dead set on keeping this team in Florida, whether it's Tampa, St. Pete, Orlando, wherever it is. And also right now you have a governor in DeSantis, and this isn't political at all. But he's from that area. He wants that team there. And now is the time to strike. Well, he's still the governor, and he can help push some people along across the finish line.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's how this works. You need a lot of people to be on the same page to pull things like this off. So much more on it when we find out more info. When we come back, what did Nick Castellanos say to Rob Thompson to get
the razor for sale?
1 game suspension? Kratz, real question for you. So I'm in Arena Club and I opened up a slab pack. I pulled a Wyatt Langford auto rookie card. I got an immediate offer from Arena Club. I turned it down. It was in the mid 300s range. I've gotten a few offers since. Thoughts on Wyatt? Should I hold on?
I saw it. I didn't see it when you ripped the pack, but it looks so sick with everything around it and how it's spinning in your showroom. That John looked nice. But no, you shouldn't sell it. Maybe wait till he makes an all-star or 2, and all of a sudden that 300 goes up, and you're going to get another instant offer right away on Arena Club.
That's right. Buy, sell, trade. Slab packs are there for you too, to rip a pack. And for me, I'm just leaving it in the showroom for now. I'm deciding what I'm going to do with it. But if I did want to sell it, then I can get myself another slab pack or buy a card that I want to buy. Get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/Val. Use code FOUL. Gotta keep talking about the team when they're hot. One of the hottest teams in baseball right now is
Washington Nationals.
How many for them now? 10? Is it 10?
9 straight.
10 in a row.
10 in a row.
10 in a row. They've lost 10 in a row. Oh, the Rockies are hot as fire right now. Rockies are just they're trying to get back in that race with the White Sox.
They're as hot as the Red Sox. Let's put it that way. They're 500 in their last 14 games. The Red Sox are 500 for their last 3 seasons.
Yeah, but for the Rockies, 7-7 is a big number.
Yes,
and they could go back-to-back sweep pieces. Right?
You know,
they sweep the Marlins, and now they can sweep the Nats.
There was a series in between, no?
Oh,
no, there's a series. Yeah.
But still,
they beat the Braves 2-3.
Right.
You know who's the most mad that they keep winning? Pedro Grifol. Most mad by far. He's like, they're going to win more games than we did last year. Daggone it.
And I do think we're in this anomaly era here where you're not going to see this level of futility for a while. You're going to see terrible teams, but I'm saying last year, the White Sox set the record. It is crazy that 1 year later, you have another team that might set the loss record right after that. I don't think this is going to be something we're following on a yearly basis. Like, oh, we got another team that might lose 120.
How long until the White Sox?
That's my point. So if the Rockies
White Sox
recover,
can't get anything nice. Check out my shirt. We can't get anything nice. Why? Because we set the loss record, and the Rockies are trying to take that from us.
You got Chase Meidroth, and we're going to talk to him soon. What's up? We're back. And if you're not in Chat BCC by now chatting with us, then why not? It's free to join the party, and we're giving out 2 free tickets per week up to $400. Kratz put out the latest contest just now. Kratz, would you like to let the people know what they need to do to get involved?
Just make me laugh the hardest. Like, you got to, like, I'm not going to tell you what makes me laugh, but I love laughing. So there was a couple already that I got like a, but I'm looking for one where I make this weird noise when I really laugh. Like, I'm like that's what I'm looking for. That's the kind of laugh I'm looking for. But just send your meme in. You get 2 tickets up to $400 value total. You get 2 tickets. Like, just make me laugh. That's it. Everybody should want to make people laugh.
Yep. To see the full rules and how to enter, go into Chat BCC. I'll drop a link right now in for the live crowd in YouTube. So go give it a look. There it is. foulterritory.chat in Chat BCC. There's no catch. We're just giving out free tickets every single week. Some people are like, what's the catch? I'm like, the catch is you have to win. Yeah.
Send more than one.
We're doing it every week. So, and if you don't win this week, there'll be other ways to win. Let's hit that. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Nick Castellanos got removed a couple days ago from a game for defense. He said something to Rob Thompson. Thompson sat him, it's a 1-game suspension. He sat him yesterday for what he called an inappropriate comment. Castellanos said he wasn't pleased with being pulled from the game. Thompson said that he had crossed the line with whatever he said, and Castellanos said it's his decision. He's the manager. You know, Nick had a 236 games played streak, second longest active streak in MLB that came to a close. And for all you old school baseball fans out there, this is no Iron Man Cal Ripken streak, but it does mean something to a player to play every day when you've got 236 in a row. There's so few that play every single day and put together solid production. Our Philly expert, Erik Kratz, your thoughts on all of this?
I mean, on all of it, 236 straight games starting, not just playing, starting. So that's legit. We talked about it earlier. Good players want to play every day. Good teams have guys that play every day. I don't know what he said. It may have been something about the fact that America was going to win the Stanley Cup and Edmonton, the only shot for Canada to win the Stanley Cup, wasn't going to happen, and maybe the Canadian Rob Thompson got pissed. I don't know, but Nick and Rob have not always seen eye to eye, but Topper even said that. Topper said, you know what? One of the things I like about Nick is his emotion. He crossed the line. Everybody's got a line. This one, he crossed it this time.
But what did he say? What could he possibly say that would have made Rob Thompson that mad? Why the heck did you take me out of the game, Skip? Like, did he call him a name? Did he insult him? Did he say a bad word? What could possibly say where Rob Thompson was like, we're not starting tomorrow? And by the way, we got our asses kicked also. They did. The Phillies got their asses kicked yesterday.
Without
Here's my
Castellanos.
only.
I know, but what could he possibly have said that would have made him this mad where you don't start the guy?
I ask you guys.
I don't
you
know.
Guys played. Like, what do you think would set the tone? Like, you guys tell me, Kratz, the word is you. If you say you to the umpire, you're out, right? So what is it to the manager that gets him sat?
I hope nobody cuts this incorrectly because it could be taken wrong. But Topper is a very humble guy. He's very like, I bet it would be really tough to say something that would hurt his feelings. My fear is that Nick said something about one of the other players. Like, let's say you could come out of the game. You don't want to come out of the game, and you say something like, we're putting this idiot in the game, or we're putting, like, if he said something degrading about another player, I could see Topper saying that like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to degrade other people. If he like makes fun of a coach or like yells at a coach, like, who's this idiot? Did he make you take me out or something like that? A player says something to me like, I hate you. You're the worst. It's like, all right, fine. Like, you came out of the game. I would hate it if you came over to me and like, oh, I'm out of the game. High five. Like, I have a hard time believing he said something about Topper or one of his coaches that made him take him or made him sit him the next day.
And bad enough that it wouldn't just be a warning, or maybe there had been past comments. I don't know.
Yeah, there had to be more to it. This couldn't have been the first time, right? Because I don't know because no matter how mad you are at a moment and you say things, everyone said something in their life where they're like, man, I probably shouldn't have said that. Some of us more than others. But in a baseball game and in a baseball setting, people say stuff all the time and they're like, blah, blah, blah. They just have word vomit or whatever that comes in their head. They just vomit it out. And then 5 minutes after the game is over, you sit down and you think about it and you go into the manager's office and say, you know what, Skip, I'm sorry. I apologize. And you're like, okay, I forgive you. Don't let it happen again. So this maybe wasn't the first time something had happened. Again, I don't know. We're not there and nobody seems to talk about it. Nobody's talking about it.
No, but that is the question. And I don't think it was asked, Kratz. I didn't catch every back and forth with reporters with Nick and Topper, but the key question is, was there a past incident with words exchanged? Because to me, that helps tell the story. Because often that is the case. It might not be. And then if there wasn't anything in the past that led up to this, then you could debate if it was really worth it and why the message was sent without him saying, hey, let's cool off. Let's apologize to those that need the apology, and then let's move on and get you back in the lineup.
AJ, how many times did you ever yell at a coach on the bench? I mean, per season.
How many times I yell at a coach? I didn't yell at coaches very often. I wasn't that guy. Now there was times where I would go in their office and we'd have a conversation, but you usually wouldn't. I mean, I can only remember one or two times where it was like, all right, I said something to a coach I probably shouldn't have said, but usually I didn't do it in front of people because I don't believe in fighting battles in the newspaper, and I don't believe in fighting battles that people need to know about. I'd go and have a conversation, but I can only think of one time where something happened with me and a coach, and that where I was like, this isn't the way things should be handled. Other than that, I mean, it wasn't very often. I didn't see it happen very often. I didn't see many players yell at coaches, and I mean, I saw guys every once in a while, but it wasn't like a daily occurrence.
Pitching coach comes up to you and is like, AJ, why'd you call slider right there? Dude hit a homer on it. You never told him, hey, you wanna call the pitches? Like, you want to call pitches? Like, that's.
Yeah, but I also have a really good relationship. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I was very lucky. Very few pitching coaches that I played with ever came up to me and said that. Don Cooper did it to me one time, and I said, if you want to call the pitches, great. But we had conversations before, and I said, if you want to call the pitches, call them. He goes, no, it's too much pressure. I said, okay, that's all I needed to hear. Thank you. I'll go back to doing my job now. right? And we moved on.
Mm-hmm.
We moved on from there, right? But this wasn't ever like, it wasn't a disrespectful thing. It was just like, hey, if you want to do this, I'm open to you doing it. But I mean, I've seen players and coaches get into it, obviously, right? But I don't know. I just don't know what you could say that you would have to be benched the next day. I just don't know what it would be that you wouldn't go in and apologize for. I don't know.
I'm not creative enough to come up with a reason or a thing. I don't know.
Like it had to be beyond just cursing him out, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Like if you just said like you bleep and bleep, like okay.
But again, I don't know this, but to me, this doesn't seem like a one-time thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I played with guys that have done stuff and they make mistakes and they throw something and it hits somebody or they do something and it leads to something. But usually the first time the manager's like, okay, dude, that's it. You got your one. Don't let it happen again. If it happens again, then something happens, right? It usually doesn't happen on the first time. And I'm not saying that's what happened here, but it had to be something real. And I don't know Nick Castellanos that great other than we've had him on here and I've talked to him when I've seen him. But he didn't seem like a guy to go after a teammate and call like some teammate like, why are you putting this guy in for me, right?
Mm-mm.
It had to be something like where he just kept saying to Topper, why you keep taking me out of the game in the ninth inning for defense? What? I can play defense. You don't think I can play defense? Right? And finally Topper was like, enough. And the Phillies haven't been playing great, so I mean there's probably a lot happening there.
And Nick Castellanos is one of the worst defensive outfielders in baseball. It's true, during the regular season at least. You know, he's a little better in the playoffs. He even says that himself. But you know, front offices use defensive metrics and the eye test. I mean, defensive metrics, he's a -8 outs above average, which is 1 percentile. The Phillies aren't wrong for taking them out for defense.
There's many guys. Schwarber used to get taken out for defense.
Yeah.
Many guys got taken. I got taken out for defense one time, and I did lose my mind, but I was already gone at that time. It was the last game of the year. I was with the Giants. I got taken out, or the second to last game. So.
Yeah.
And Felipe Alou was managing. We were winning 3-0. Takes me out. And he takes our shortstop out for defensive purposes, and we lose the game on a Steve Finley grand slam walk off. It's a famous Dodger game, 2004. And then we lost the playoffs by 1 game. I'm like, why did you take me out and our shortstop? Like, what are we doing here? Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing? We're winning 3-0. And I'm like, what are we doing? Felipe was like, okay, good answer.
That's what he said?
I mean, kind of. I mean,
direct quote.
He didn't really have an answer. He's like,
that's how
like,
the
we
guy...
just got walked. That was one of the few times where I was like,
you were livid?
Yeah, because I'm like, we have to win. We have to win this game.
Yes.
We're winning 3-0 in the bottom of the ninth. And you take your catcher and your shortstop out, and our shortstop made an error, and our catcher, I never want to blame pitch calling, but Kratz, when the catcher's rolling, you're shutting out a team, you don't take that guy out because he's been back there. I was out there Friday night. This was a Saturday game, right? Like, you don't take that guy out. You let that guy roll.
And he turned into the coach from Waterboy, Kratz.
I remember Waterboy.
No, the assistant coach who actually didn't say anything. You remember the assistant coach? You'd be like, hey, guys. You don't remember that guy?
Listen, Felipe Alou was a great manager.
Oh, yeah, where he just mumbled?
Yeah.
Bobby Boucher.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm sorry, but I don't know.
I feel like if we stay here longer, I feel like AJ will start remembering more times that he yelled or was pissed at coaches. And maybe we could stay on here longer and just think about it and talk about it. Maybe it would pop up in his head different times that he may have done more of a Nick Castellanos thing. Do they trade him, though? We haven't even brought that up. Do they trade Nick because of this situation?
Haven't they tried to trade him in the past?
He was in the Tucker deal that was like, supposedly it was Bohm, Nick, and I forget who from the Bushes, that he was going to go for Kyle Tucker. You know, how close that got, if that's true or not, obviously all rumors.
Is that rumors that are out there or rumors that you heard internally? Like, is that, if I Googled that, would I see anything? No. Okay.
No, that was Google.
You're saying from this past offseason when the Cubs won the bid, the Phillies were involved and those two names were involved?
That's what I remember reading. Yeah. I mean, It could have been a trolling account, but...
Right. Okay. Anyway, we do have a show devoted to the Phillies. They will spend a good chunk of time on this. We'll see if they have any insight. Todd Zalecki, Jim Salisbury, and Ruben Amaro Jr. You can see on the screen there, Jesus Luzardo is not a regular host, but he was a guest recently. But if you want to hear more from them, it's called The Philly Show. It's part of the FT Network. We are swinging back with Chase Meidroth from the Chicago White Sox, talking to our White Sox, AJ. It might be that time. If you're looking for a new car, there's one place to go that is going to take care of you, and it's Car Gurus.
Yeah. Looking for a car should be fun, not exhausting. Everywhere else, it's exhausting. You're dodging people. You're trying to just, can I look at this car? Car Gurus, you type in your search, you find the color that you want, it narrows it down for you, and all of a sudden you're like, this has been an exciting experience, and you got a great deal.
With over 4 million listings, Car Gurus has more car listings than any other major online automotive marketplace in the US, so you can find the best deal. It's no wonder SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows Car Gurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site. Buy or sell your next car today with Car Gurus at cargurus.com. Go to cargurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's cargurus.com. Cargurus.com. Hey, scary moment in the game yesterday. Blue Jay center fielder Myles Straw had to leave the game, smashed into the wall. But what stood out here is a great photo. It's Josh Naylor out there on the field to check on him. Andres Jimenez, his current teammate there as well. They were all teammates in Cleveland, but the friend side of this to make sure that your friend is okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. And by the way, Myles Straw, remember he was traded because they thought they were getting Sasaki, right?
Yes.
They took him on from Cleveland because they thought they were getting Sasaki.
I do remember. Right.
Yeah, but this is the human side of it. Josh Naylor on a different team. They played together for years in Cleveland. Andres Jimenez, obviously. And you go check on your pals, man. You never want to see anyone get hurt, especially buddies of yours. So good on you, Josh. Plus, he's in Canada. He's Canadian. He's probably thinking maybe if I give some good love, the Oilers could stay alive for Game 7. But nope. Florida beats Canada again.
Hey, Myles Straw has been contributing here. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's more for his glove than his bat at this point, but what has he got here this year? 131 plate appearances and a 632 OPS, 77 OPS plus. So below average bat, but still an elite defender.
He gets paid for his defense.
He is lightning fast.
That's his thing.
His outs above average in limited games played. I mean, he's less than 59 games played. He's at a +4. That's really good. He's 94th percentile.
They don't need him, but Varsho's out, so he's filled in admirably.
Yes. Here's White Sox infielder Chase Meidroth joining us on Foul Territory right now. Chase, how you doing, man? Great to have you on.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Excited to have you on. Hey, let's start this way. Do you have any questions for AJ about White Sox life?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, it's a good thing.
Do they talk about the 05 champs at all?
This year they do.
They do, that's right.
This year they have to because, I mean,
all the
20
time,
years.
yeah.
I mean, it's all they got. It's all they got at this point. I'm sorry, Chase. That's all they got. For the last 20 years, that's all they've had. I'm sorry. I'm even wearing my shirt for you today. So, I mean, I don't know. You're doing me proud, though. I'll give you this. You're doing me proud. I like the way you play the game. You hit the ball. You make contact. Play solid defense. You run. You don't give away at bats. So, from what I've seen, I like what I've seen from you, and you can be a winning player. So, they need some more of you guys, but you guys are getting there, and I like what I'm seeing.
Thank you.
How's it going over there with, for example, Kyle Teal, who moved across in that deal for Garrett Crochet? Do you feel like you're starting to build not just a core that can win, but a bond with some of the younger players that can look around and be like, cool, we're going to be here for a minute, because the team, did kind of get rid of most of their players from the last run. And who's left? Is it just Luis Robert from the last playoff team?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how's this next core? Like, give us the lowdown on what the next great White Sox team could look like and some of the personalities around it.
Yeah, we got a lot of young guys in that clubhouse, but it's been good so far. Getting to play with guys like Teal coming up with the Red Sox, and then over here now, and just learning the game and learning from the guys that have done it, like Benintendi and Talkman and Luis Robert. So it's been a good start so far.
What role does Will play in that? You guys are all coming in. You're coming in from different organizations. Some of you just barely came out of college. Will Venable, what kind of role does he play in like a daily conversation? Or does he just let you guys roll the balls out and go for
it? He's got a lot of experience in this game as a player, and so he's got a lot of good stuff to bring each and every day for the young guys, and just talk through the game. But most of it's kind of letting us play and figure it out.
Chase, you got traded for Garrett Crochet from the Red Sox, okay? With Montgomery and Teal and you, and I think there was one more. I forget who the fourth one was off the top of my head. Who was the fourth one? I know you know. So, who was the fourth guy? There you go.
Wickelman, yeah.
Who's the best player? Who's the best player of you four? Who's the best one? Who's maybe not now? Who's gonna be the best one?
I don't know. I think we all do different things very well, but yeah, I think
all four players. Oh. See, all right. I like. You're supposed to say me. Man, I'm gonna be the best. Me.
I'm gonna deviate off of that a little bit. What is one skill that the other guys have that you've seen, the guys you've played with, that you're like, man, I wish I had that superpower that Kyle Teal has, or I wish I had that to add to my bag.
Yeah, I'll start with Braden. He's crazy athletic, really good arm from the outfield. He's a stud athlete. That's one of those, special talents that he has where he can really play this game for a long time. Teal he's very whippy and flexible as a hitter, where he can create a lot of power in his frame, which is electric, and that's why he does a lot of damage to the ball. And then Wickelman has just electric stuff. His fastball plays up to 98, where, I've faced him in several spring trainings with the Red Sox where, it's some of his stuff when he's on, it's untouchable.
All right. Between you and Teal, you've been up in front of the bus. And I always ask rookies when they come on the show about the front of the bus. Who had the better performance on the mic? Or maybe you guys don't do that. Maybe you do something different.
Yeah, Teal. I think I'll give it to Teal. Teal actually's got a really good voice, surprisingly. He got a lot of compliments on it, and he embraced it. So I'll give it to him.
What did you perform?
So
I did Billie Jean by Michael Jackson.
Oh, nice.
Wow. All right, so Teal can sing better than you, but who has the better run? Have you seen the memes of Teal scoring from first on these doubles where he's Have you seen those memes? Yeah. I mean, do you guys give him a little bit of crap for that? Because I mean, he's rolling, but it's like it's like Dumb and Dumber. If you move your arms, you can really feel like you're running at an incredible pace.
Yeah, I think I saw one where it was like if caffeine was running, that was pretty funny. Yeah, he drinks a lot of caffeine too, so it's kind of perfect for him.
Wow, that's pretty good. What do you guys do away from the field? Are you guys gamers? Do you guys? I mean, obviously you sing Michael Jackson, which is a surprise to me. But are you guys gamers? Do you golf? Do you guys go out on the lake? What do you guys do in Chicago when you have an off day?
I'm from the beach, so I love being on the water. Lake Michigan here, it's warming up, so on the last off day I got out there and we got on a boat. There's a few jet skis rolling around. So
wait, you say go to the beach. You got out on the water, like you go to the beach in San Diego. Come on, like you got to call it something different when you're going to the water here in Chicago. I mean, AJ thinks Chicago is the greatest city on earth, but What do you think of going to the beach? I know the water temperature is the same as it is in San Diego, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was like 62 the other day. It was nice.
It was nice. Okay, you ever look back at your old team, the teammates that you were playing with in the minor leagues, coming up through the Red Sox, and now you look at it and pretty much all those dudes are now in the big leagues with the Red Sox?
Yeah, I talk to Marcelo and Roman almost every day still. So yeah, I'm really happy for them, and they're doing their thing over there.
What do you think about some of the criticism that has been divvied out by different places saying, oh, they don't teach enough fundamentals in the minor leagues? In 21, before you were drafted, I worked a little bit in the Red Sox minor league system, and I felt like they taught a lot of fundamentals. Do you feel like you taught enough and you were prepared to be in the big leagues once you got over to the White Sox?
Yeah, but between both organizations, I thought I was always put in the best spot possible. So I got nothing but good things to say.
Wait, me. I want to know. I want to know more about what Roman and Marcelo are saying right now. So you get to see both of them get the call to the show over the last month and change. What are they saying? Like, what's it like for them? Are you checking stats and watching their games when you can? What are the conversations? Like, can you, obviously people want access in this game. Can you take us inside anything that's going on when you're talking to your buddies?
Yeah, I know all three of us we love talking about the game. When we were all in Double-A together and then in Triple-A together last year, we would sit in the clubhouse for just hours talking about at-bats and stuff like that. So, but I know now I try to watch as many games as I can still, and I know they follow me all the time. And so we go back and forth still, and, we're going through funks or having success. It's those two guys are easy to talk to about, because they've played with me for 3 years, so they know what I do well, how I get back to it, and I do the same kind of for them. So it's been fun watching them play, and Roman hit his first home run the other day. I was fired up for that. That was awesome. But yeah.
Chase, were you guys all sitting around this offseason? Did you guys have a group text going saying, all right, I'm going to get traded? No. Braden's going to get traded. No. Kyle, maybe Roman, maybe Marcelo, right? Who's going to get, maybe Christian Campbell? Did you guys have a group text saying like, all right, well, we know some of us are going to get traded? Are we like taking dibs on who's going where? And then when you got the call, where were you? And who was the first person of that group that you text or called?
Yeah, actually, I know this story's been kind of going around, but I was on the phone with Marcelo when the trade happened. So when it all got released, I was on the phone with him, and one of us was like, "Well, it's one of us." So, and then I told him, I was like, "Oh, I'm getting a call from Brez, got to go. See you." So that was how it went down. But yeah, I was on the phone with Marcelo.
What did he say? What did Craig Breslow say when you called him? Were you like, yeah, I know what this is about?
Yeah, he just said, you just been traded to the White Sox. And I was like, yeah, I presumed.
You were just like, thanks, Craig. I really appreciate it. It's already gone across the ticker now. So, well, Marcelo, we were like, hold on. I got Meyer on the other line. Hold on, Craig. I'll let him know he's not being traded. Okay, thank you. Hold on. Can I merge? And you're like, should I merge the calls together? How do I do this? Right? Like, you can tell him he's not getting traded.
Yeah, Marcelo's just like, yeah, see you, buddy.
He's like, nice knowing you. Appreciate it. All right. So now let's get to the White Sox.
Wait. I have one more.
Sorry,
one more, and then we'll get to White Sox again. Sorry. We haven't talked about this on the show, but it was widely reported, and I've been watching a lot of Red Sox games lately. Go figure. They've been in the news a lot. So can you give us any more insight on the car key situation with Marcelo and Roman driving him around because he lost his keys for a while? Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know much to it. I just heard he lost his car keys, and so yeah, Roman was driving around. But I mean, yeah, those two, like, it's pretty normal just to like jump in each other's cars where, you don't really, I guess you don't really need your keys until you get called up, obviously. But yeah.
Wait, what?
That's why I had to go
what? Hold up. What do you mean it's pretty normal just to jump in someone else's car?
Because they live right? Didn't they live across?
Yeah, we all lived
park?
together across the street. Yeah. We didn't really need our cars, so we'd all just walk to the field. Everything was like walking distance. My car last year in that lot sat there for probably 3 weeks without it being touched, where it was just like, you kind of your car keys almost just kind of get forgot about.
Wow.
And Roman had the sickest ride, I think. Right?
Yeah, Roman had the Mercedes, whatever that was, especially when he got called up and he's like pulls up to the park in a big league
He
rider.
knows what it is. What was it? What car was it?
He's got a BMW. Like I forget. I don't know the model, but it's a nice one. So it's easy to just Roman, you can take me around, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll ride Nick. I'll ride shotgun in the nice car.
Because Boston media was like, this guy can't even find his keys for weeks. He's like, listen, we don't need our cars there. So I was learning that whole situation,
I like it. All right, let's get to the White Sox. Let's get to my favorite team. What's your favorite position that they have you? I know you've been playing a lot of shortstop. You played some second. You played some third. I mean, I'm sure they'd stick you in the outfield if you wanted to, if they needed you to. Right? What's your favorite position to play on the White Sox?
I don't know. I think I'll always say second just because I grew up loving Pedroia. So I think second, turning double plays is like my favorite thing to do from second base. But, shortstops also, I take a lot of pride in defense and, helping out the pitcher and trying to make as many cool plays as possible. I grew up, watching Jose Iglesias too. And so that guy was an unbelievable defender. And I love playing defense. Shortstop second, I love them both.
It's funny, right? He's naming like Pedroia. I played with Pedroia when I was with the Red Sox, but then Jose Iglesias is still playing. So next time you have to sing on the bus, you should sing OMG and see how it goes over. That's what I think. I mean, when you get the mic, just say, hey, I mean, geez, who's the veteran that would even call you up? I guess Talkman maybe or Benintendi. It's like, when they call you up, just be like, and just pull out a black and white OMG sign and start singing the song, and then people will be like, what is happening? I don't know. Just a thought for you. Just a thought for you. Trying to make your life easier.
Have you met Jose? Have you met him?
At the beginning of last year, he was in Syracuse, and I met him briefly. I was on second base, so that was cool.
Sometimes they say don't meet your heroes. Jose Iglesias is a cool guy.
Yes,
he's fun. Like he's very everyday guy. At least when I've been around him, I get around him, and he's just like, oh, it's so great to see you and meet you and whatever. And you're like, okay, this guy's fake, but it's not. He's a nice guy.
No, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Chase, what's going on with the White Sox other than that? I mean, I was disappointed, man. I thought our guy last night was going to deal because he's been pitching really good, Smith, right, with his changeup and all that. Cardinals got to him for the first time. What are you seeing from him, and what has he done so well? Because let's not forget, he was a Rule 5 guy that the Brewers just let walk.
Yeah, electric stuff. The fastball gets up to 98, and so you got to be ready for that. And he's also got a really good changeup, slider, everything. It's in the zone. He throws every pitch in the zone. So it's been fun to play behind him. It's been pretty easy. He's made life pretty easy for all the defense so far. When he goes out there and plays and pitches, he's been amazing this year.
Chase, I've got one for you. What's height and weight? Whether it's whatever you're current or listed, what are you at ish?
I've been put anywhere between 5'9" and 5'10" and a half, and right now I'm probably 185.
Okay, so for many ball players out there that will look at a guy like Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton, right? What is your message to them? Where you're like, hey, you don't have to be a mythical looking figure to be in Major League Baseball. So what's your message to them? And for people like that, how can they find ways to generate power, which is such a big part of our game as well?
I think there's a lot of different ways to win baseball games, and it's not just hitting the long ball and doing that. Obviously, those are pluses, but if you can really, dive into a skill set of just like learning yourself and what you do really well, and that can go a long way in helping your team win. Getting on base for the next guy, getting on base for the guys like Judge and Ohtani so they can hit you in.
I like that. That's great.
Well, on your team, it's Vargas. Get on base for Vargas, the way he's been swinging.
Yeah,
Get on base for Miguel Vargas.
Yeah, Benintendi.
Ever since Vargas changed his, he went from flat to upright, he's been unbelievable. Man. I mean, why didn't he do that years ago? I don't know.
Takes time.
I guess so. I don't know. Did you go up to him and be like, dang, dude, you should have done that last year. You would have been an all-star 2 years in a row. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where are you living in Chicago? Not just the area, not the.
He wants your address, phone number, and social security.
Yeah. River North.
Oh, okay, all right.
Is that an easy hike?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a good area.
Yeah.
River North.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you went to USD, right? USD?
Yeah.
All right.
San
So I go
Diego,
to
yeah.
San Diego this weekend. Where should I go? Friday night for dinner.
I mean, I wasn't going out to nice dinners in San Diego, so I don't know that. I hit up the local spots, like right on Linda Vista Road. My breakfast place is always Matador. They got the best breakfast burritos. Let's see, Rose Donuts always got good donuts, good coffee. We always ate a lot of dinner at the field, so I didn't really, venture out into dinner spots. A lot of maybe fast food. That was kind of my go-to, but yeah, I don't know if I have the best recommendations for dinner.
All right, this is before NIL, clearly before NIL.
Yeah.
Because now you've been making a couple $100,000, you'd be going out to eat nice every night. So I get it.
Yeah.
Now,
I was still my parents' allowance.
Oh, I like that. Understood. You never get off that. Just understand. You're always under your parents' thumb. No matter how old you are, how much money you make, they're always there for you. So remember that. All right.
Yeah.
Is USD a Catholic school? Is that a Catholic or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you Catholic?
I'm Christian.
Okay. So the Pope is a White Sox fan. I mean, big deal to you? It's a big deal to me. I was raised Catholic. I did the sign of the cross for every event.
Sure. We got a bunch of Pope shirts in our locker room, and in every locker we had a Pope, the Pope in our locker. A bunch of shirts, a bunch of gear. So we're all fired up about that.
Okay, how do we get to meet the Pope? Since you're in Chicago, I'm not in Chicago. How do we get to go meet the Pope? You and I. Who do we call to go to the Vatican and sit down with the Pope and get him to bless the White Sox for the years coming up?
I'm trying to learn that too. I haven't met him yet myself, but if you figure it out before I do, let me know. I'd love to meet him. So.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like AJ's got some dirt in his spikes. You're probably better off being like AJ. Figure that out for us.
But he's on the ground. He's
right.
Boots on the ground in the White Sox.
You got the World Series ring.
I know. That's what I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to leverage that thing at some point. I'm gonna have to make some calls and say. I saw Ben Shapiro went there and gave him a signed 2005 ball. I'm like, I can up that, Annie.
Right.
Right. Like I can up that, Mr. Pope.
Get him a ring.
I mean, I don't know if Jerry would do that, but I'll call him and be like, Jerry, if I offer the Pope a World Series ring, will you let me take it to him? I'll pay for it. Not the ring, but the flight. I don't know.
I feel like that's worth a shot if someone deserves it.
Yeah.
If you're going to give out, like they do for graduations when someone speaks and they give out like an honorary degree.
Yeah.
Honorary ring. I think.
All right. So in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, we have our 20-year reunion, Chase. I'd say what we need to do. You probably have more followers on social media than I do. We need to invite him to come to the 20-year reunion because he was at the World Series in 2005. So I feel like that would be a good way to get him out of the Vatican back to Chicago and we could all meet him.
Yeah, get him on the south side. I'm in.
All right, perfect. That's all I wanted to know.
There we go. All right, Chase. Well, you'll see AJ in a few weeks. Great to have you on here. Appreciate the time, man. And good luck the rest of the way.
Hey, don't big league me, okay? Don't big league me. Just come up and say hi.
No, never.
No. Humble guy.
Guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Chase.
Thanks, Chase.
Great having you, man.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
AJ will not be sober.
By now, you know that HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit and that you can choose from 60 recipes every week. But what you might not know is that AJ wants me to describe some of the recent meals that are on the menu. So here we go. Sun-dried tomato grilled cheese sandos. That was easy. Panko-crusted chimichurri barramundi.
Yes.
Let's go.
Nailed it.
That
sounds delicious, too, by the way.
It does.
And listen, as someone that uses HelloFresh a lot, they come in these little bags with all the ingredients in a bag. You take it out of the bag. It gives you instructions, the recipes in there. You got to do a little cooking so you feel like you did some stuff. Highest quality ingredients, just delicious for meals.
That's right. Make your summer enjoyable and delicious by signing up for HelloFresh at HelloFresh.com/FT10FM and then get 10 free meals with a free item for life. That's HelloFresh.com/FT10FM for 10 free meals and a free item in every box, one per box with active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only, varies by plan. Fitting that we have What's the Beef coming up next, too. Well played. Well played. You get it? We just ran HelloFresh.
Where's the beef?
No, What's the Beef?
No, I know.
What's the beef is the segment.
Commercial.
Right. Yes.
Where's the beef was the commercial with Wendy's, where they had the old lady driving around. You guys are too young to remember
Where's the beef?
No, I know it.
Where's the beef?
Hey, we have Tarek Skubal pitching today against the Pirates. So
I know whose lock that is.
You?
Not me.
Not me.
Oh, you didn't take that?
No.
Oh, I thought for sure you. Pat probably took it.
Stay tuned. Oh, Kratz. Stay tuned. He's got a 1.99 ERA in 90 and a third innings. But there are actually quite a few people. I'm looking here at the qualifiers for ERA that are ahead of him. He is 6th in ERA right now. There's 5 other starters that have sub-5 ERAs right now. That's a lot.
Who are they? Max Fried?
That's one. You got 30 seconds here.
I have no idea the other ones.
Skeens.
Bubich.
Oh, Skeens.
Hunter Brown.
Skeens. Hunter Brown. And one just went on the IL, so he'll fall off the qualifier list soon. Kodai Senga. They also just lost Tyler McGill to the IL for a little bit, the Mets. But
Mets are the best, though, right, Kratz?
Manaya and Montas are coming back. Your boy Frankie M.
Frankie making that $16 million.
Put $1 down for a no-hitter tonight on Skubal. $201. Win it.
Wow. 2,000. What's the beef? Padres, Dodgers happening all week. They love each other. This started with Page's hit. He thought he was hit because they thought he was stealing signs that they thought that he was stealing signs.
He said that she said that I said that he said that she said.
Fast forward, game 2. Shohei Ohtani plunked. Dave Roberts said post-game he thought the Padres threw at him intentionally, and that's why he was upset when the Dodgers were also issued a warning. He also noted his frustration that he got ejected while Schilt was able to come out and talk to umpires after the warnings. Before Shohei, Tatis was hit. There's the photo on Instagram story that Shohei Ohtani posted.
How did Shohei take the picture of himself while he was hitting?
He took the picture and posted it. He's big on socials. He likes to post for himself.
He's that good.
All right, so there it is. I will say this was fun. I mean, he took it and then he smiled after. He's the only guy that would be like, "All right, cool." Like it's a different respect level, right? With Japanese culture, he's not going to like point at him and be like, "Hey, screw you, man." But Tatis got plunked, then Ohtani got hit.
Okay, but you got to go back though. You got to go through the whole thing, kind of.
Pages
got hit. Then they show Mike Schilt saying, "Who the f are you?" Right? To Pages, basically saying like, "You, who are you?" And then Manny after the game said, "We wouldn't hit Pages." Listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I've caught before, and I've said that to hitters. Like, we ain't hitting you. You're an out, dude. We don't want to hit you. Like literally, like you're an out. Like we want to pitch to you. We hit you by mistake. Trust me. We were trying to hit you. We would hit someone good.
Right. So,
and that's kind of what Schilt and Manny were saying. But Pages is having a great year. Have you ever seen the Tommy Lasorda video of Kirk Bavacqua? If you haven't seen it, Google it. He's like, Kirk Bavacqua, I used to send a limo to get hit guys like him out, right? To make sure he was in the lineup so he didn't miss the game. There's certain guys. That's basically what they were saying.
Yeah.
Fine, I got no problem with it because this line has been around baseball forever. We wouldn't hit you. You're an out.
Page's been on fire. 4 for 4, 2 homers yesterday. He's second in the team in homers, all that.
True.
But he
compared to Shohei, Mookie, Freddie, Will Smith, Max Muncy, Teoscar, he's low on the total.
Machado is a great point. Yeah, there's plenty of guys to hit that aren't Pages.
True. And then Trevino hits Tatis. So then Vasquez says, well, I got to get somebody. The problem I have is he missed.
First, that he missed, then he won again. Yeah.
And then he got him on the second one. If you're the umpires there, you see the first one, and then he hits him on the second one, he's got to go. If you're going to give warnings, he's got to go. Because the Dodgers then don't have a chance to get back anyway. Right? That's it. That's where the mistakes lie. It lies in the fact that the umpires that he missed on the first one, and then the umpires when he got hit. If you're giving warnings, you're saying he threw at him on purpose. That's Dave Roberts' argument.
Yes.
If that's the rule, see you later.
But that's what happens, Kratz. I feel like this is a very classic MLB situation with umpires where we don't have the retaliation game on point. So the warning gets issued and it's like, yo, we didn't even do it. We didn't even do anything.
No.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it hit Tatis. So it was time to get somebody back. And it should have ended there. Vasquez should have been gone. There's no, I mean, come on. If even if that was just the first pitch, I feel like I'm pretty good at seeing when a guy is throwing in a certain direction and then, he just absolutely, I mean, the way he missed, the way he finished, it looked like he stepped right to him to hit him. He wouldn't not even talk about the pitch before, missed him. It was, should have been gone. Dave Roberts, there's no way Dave can stay in that game. He has to be thrown out because to me, it wasn't handled well by the umpires.
You're exactly right. Dave's got to go. Dave's got to defend his star.
Yeah, of course.
My star got hit. You're giving us a warning because you know what Dave was going to go do.
Oh, yeah.
Probably going to hit Manny. Probably going to get
Yep.
Manny. Probably going to go out. Manny or Tatis is getting one.
So you think they're going to go back at them again?
No. I'm saying
now it's done.
if there was no warnings issued, Manny or Tatis was getting one.
Right.
Fernando,
is it done now? Or does this continue?
It's got to be over now, but all it takes is one guy to let one ball get away and somebody get whacked, and then guess what? It starts again.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Padres, because the Padres don't want to, they want to show that they're not scared of the Dodgers, and they don't want to be disrespected by the Dodgers. So if they get hit, she'll learn from La Russa. La Russa was like, you hit my guy, I'm hitting 3 of yours. Right? And that's the way Schilt was brought up in the Cardinals organization, which is fine. But just know that I think it's done because the ejections and everything that happened last night. But if one gets away, it could start again. And if someone gets hit, there's going to be some mouthy mouth because, again, the Padres don't want to be looked at as a little brother.
Yeah, it could be on again. Trip Gibson, by the way, tossed Doc, who was the guy who told Max Muncy obstruction and had beef with some other coach that led up to that Max told us about. Who was it?
Dino Ebel.
Dino Ebel, right.
They did hit somebody. The Dodgers hit Iglesias later in the game, and they didn't throw him out. So I thought the umpires handled that really well. Ball got away. I wish I remember who was pitching for the Dodgers. It was man. Spells his name.
They're not going after Iglesias.
They're not
That's
going
not
after
the
Iglesias is not their target.
Yeah.
But then Manny, and believe me, I've been that guy that's gotten hit, and I've been pissed, and teams have been like, we're not trying to hit you. I know, but it still hurts. I don't want to get hit. Not that you're trying to hit me on purpose, but when they hit Iglesias, Manny came out and was like, oh, what about the warnings? Like, well, that's not why they have the warnings out. Guys can still get hit by pitches. You're not just going to throw them out. You just have to have some feel. So I thought the umpires had good feel in that situation.
There you go. And for anyone that doesn't think that the Padres were throwing at Ohtani on purpose, you're insane.
Yeah. Now, Trevino and Tatis, I don't know. He's hit him twice now. That's kind of twice in a week, so I get it. I don't think, but he just throws that turbo sinker that kind of gets away from every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't think that Vasquez was throwing it right at Ohtani and he missed, he's probably never had to do that in his life. If you talk to a pitcher, and Kratz, I think you've probably had this conversation, and they say, it's so hard to hit a guy. I'm like, you can throw a strike down and away like 9 out of 10 times, but you can't hit a guy? All you got to do is like move it over a little bit. And they're like, it's so hard. I'm like, it shouldn't be that hard. You got a big target. They're like, oh, I throw it in and then he moves out of the way. All right, well, then throw it right behind him. And then they move right into it. Shouldn't be that hard.
It shouldn't.
A pitcher explained it to me one time. Like, I don't want it to look like I'm actually throwing at him. So they want to stride at the exact same place. Now, this was just one pitcher telling me this. They want to stride at the exact same place and yank it. And that's what he said is so hard. I'm like, just stride at the hitter. Everybody knows you're hitting them. Put it right, what I've always heard, put it right behind their butt because nobody ever moves forward and they'll just move right back into it, or they'll turn and their left butt cheek if they're a left-handed hitter, or their right butt cheek if they're a right-handed hitter.
There you go.
Yep.
And coming up next, a guy who knows all about this, former skipper Joe Maddon on the show.
Joe would never order anyone to throw it at somebody.
Never.
Whoop. prove it.
We're back. What do you want to ask, Joe?
I got to ask Joe because I was on teams where I got thrown out by, and he was managing, so I want to know if he ordered it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. I'm joking. Hear this, too. I hope he can't because I'm going to get him first round. We go in.
No, he can hear. He can hear. He's
I did
watching.
not
Prep your
order
answers,
the Code
Joe.
Red. I did not
Yes.
order the Code Red.
Yes, he did. He's like Jack Nicholson.
2 minutes away.
You're goddamn right I did.
Different times, too.
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course.
Different, but also, and we talked about this because I feel like it's become a theme in the past week or so. You don't see this as often, so it gets much more attention, even when it's like there wasn't a fight or anything out of it. But we don't even see guys throwing intentionally at other players nearly as much as we did even 5 years ago.
Yeah. This used to be a thing. If someone pissed you off, whack.
Like every week, this was a thing. Going back 10 years ago.
Well, when you used to play, you also used to play 19 times against the teams in your division.
Yep.
Somebody would do something, and the pitcher would get mad, and they're like, Sometimes the worst part for me, Kratz, was they wouldn't even tell me. They
What do
would
you mean?
like. I always tell a pitcher, if you're going to hit a dude on purpose, just tell me before you hit him, so I'm ready.
But they don't
In
want
case he goes, I got to get him.
Yeah. Oh, I get what you're saying. Your pitcher wouldn't tell you.
Yeah, sometimes there were times where I knew, like I could just tell the guy hit a guy on purpose. And I'd go to him in the dugout and I'd say, you threw at him on purpose. He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, tell me. So I know I could be ready to go. If he goes, I got to be able to get to him. Because there's times he gets hit and you're like, and you kind of look for a second at the ball. Well, I know if a dude's getting hit, I got to be on red alert. Like I got to get him before he gets to my pitcher.
Yes.
That's the other way. That's the other way you know if a pitcher was told to hit a batter. If the catcher goes to pick the ball up, or if the catcher's first move is right in front of the hitter, you know there's intent there. So you just you read the room, you read the situation.
Or if you see the catcher's not going after the hitter, then you might be like, does the catcher not like the pitcher?
Doesn't know. You can hate the pitcher and you don't let him. You never let him get to your pitcher.
Wasn't there one situation in the last few
No,
years?
Buster Posey.
No, it was the Bryce Harper one.
Oh,
And Hunter
where they let him
Strickland
go.
told Buster, he goes, I'm hitting him,
Yeah.
and you let him get to me.
Oh,
He
right.
told him, he goes, do not stop him. And Buster's like, and that was the famous where they both threw like haymakers at each other.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
And then Michael Morse never played again because he collided on the mound with, who was that with? Gardner?
Yeah, that part's not as fun.
Yeah, that was terrible.
All right, here we go. We got Joe Maddon joining us right now, former longtime skipper, and many ways to check out what Joe's doing. We'll talk about the pod and all of that coming up in a moment. Joe, great to have you on. I'm sure you've been listening to some of our banter here. AJ wants to know if you've ever code red him before to hit him and what you thought about the recent back and forth with the Padres and Dodgers. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me here, boys. And yeah, listen, we had a lot of reason to code red AJ, but never did, right?
That is a lie. That is a bull-faced lie, Joe. Because Kelvin Escobar hit me after we beat you in 05 the next year, my first at bat, and you weren't the manager, but you were the bench coach. So I'm blaming Sosha and you. And then,
Go ahead.
And then there was one in 2012. You were still in Tampa, and Alex Cobb hit me after you guys thought I had a dirty slide on Zobrist, and then Quintana threw behind Ben Zobrist. You guys all whined, and that was the famous Hawk Harrelson. Wagner, what are you doing?
See, when you have a really good veteran team, the manager never has to say anything, and you know that. It's never it should never have to come from the manager. These are the kind of things you talk about in spring training, and it's always about defending your own brood. My experience has been most of the times when this has occurred, it's obviously obvious when it should happen. But what normally occurs is that a veteran pitcher will mosey up to somebody, whether it's somebody in the bullpen coming into the game, a guy in the pen, or somebody on the bench itself. But these are conversations we all have in spring training. I can honestly tell you, I've never went up and told or asked anybody to hit a batter, but it's been done because of the unwritten rules. And you guys were talking about something previous to this about pitchers that cannot do it. I'll tell you why. I mean, I had a young pitcher with the Rays that one of the dudes asked him to hit somebody. And this guy was totally freaked out about it. He's a really good pitcher because he had never done it before and he didn't want to do it. And it puts the guy in a very difficult situation. So really, when when it's asked of a pitcher to do something like this, and I know like Ozzie would get upset if somebody didn't drill somebody at the right time. I know that, but you have to ask the right guys. Chuck Finley, one of the best. Chucky would pick out a thigh. That was his big thing. Like I think Erik brought up about, or somebody brought up about throwing behind the guy or at his butt. Pick out a thigh is always the most effective way.
Joe, I one time got in trouble from a manager because I told one of our pitchers to hit somebody because they hit Yelly 3 times in a row, and the Cardinals just nobody on our team. And I got aired out by Craig Counsell. So have you seen it where managers only want to be the one that ordering the code red?
I can't say that specifically because I know Soch never wanted to throw at anybody. I'm going to tell you that right straight up. Soch did not like that at all. And again, like I've not specifically seen that, no. But again, back to my original point, conversation in spring training was always about protecting one another. You talk about the Cardinals. The time I was with the Cubs, the Cardinals, as much as anybody, would throw at somebody. That was part of their culture there, and you knew that. And I remember specifically there was a situation in Wrigley where I felt that was happening against us. And my comment afterwards was that we don't start anything, but we're going to stop stuff. We'll stop something that occurs. So if you in fact believe you're being attacked, of course you have to retaliate. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care about the narrative that's been created in today's game. It's just the way things need to be done. I'll tell you, the 2008 Rays ascended as quickly as we did because of the fight we had in spring training with the Yankees and then the fight we had with the Red Sox during the season, because we had to take that division. Nobody was going to give it to us. And these guys were pushing the Devil Rays around for years. So I think the two of the biggest moments or seminal moments in the history of the Rays was the fight when Elliott Johnson pancaked Francisco Cervelli at home plate in a spring training game. And the other one was when Shields got Coco Crisp in the thigh to start the game after there was an issue the night before. These, listen, people could argue all they want, but these are the kind of things that may be necessary to galvanize a team. And all of a sudden, yeah, you start believing in yourself. You become a little bit tougher, quite frankly. And I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't want anybody throwing anybody's head. Absolutely not. That's not the point. Picking out a thigh is the pro way of doing it.
All right, 2 things. One, Ozzie once, you mentioned that he got mad. I was there for that. I was catching. I got hit twice. He told somebody to throw at a guy. He missed. He then took him out. It's a whole saga. It still is raging today because the kid got sent down. He was getting sent down regardless, but he missed. And then Ozzie came out and put on a show, and it was a big. And I had nothing to. I didn't tell anybody to hit anybody. Somehow I get that I didn't tell anybody to hit anybody. I didn't know what was going on. I knew that he was getting sent down after the game. It just sucked for the kid. Whatever. I apologize. I had nothing to do with it. So, but then my question is, because I've also seen this one, because so I had Tom Kelly. Tom Kelly wouldn't put a young kid in to hit a guy. He would say, rookie, no, I want a veteran because of what you said. Now, have you ever had a guy tell you no? Because I've seen that happen too, where a manager has gone to a player and said, I want you to hit this guy. And this pitcher said, no, I'm not doing it.
Again, I've never said that directly to a pitcher. I have not. I know that you'll see that, like I said, a vet might mosey up to somebody in between innings, or it could come from the bullpen. It comes from a bunch of different directions. I've seen guys attempt to hit somebody and miss. And at some point, you got to stop trying. I mean, you just can't keep throwing at him like he's a dartboard. That's not the point. So I've seen that where it's failed, and then you got to move on at some point. You don't want to hurt anybody. Even when you throw at and sometimes miss intentionally, at least the message has been sent. Of course, the guy on your team that had been hit really would prefer a pound of flesh. I understand that. But there's the nuance of doing something like this. The hit needs to be below the waist, I believe. And then sometimes it has to be done. The message has been sent. And I'll argue that with anybody. Today's world, especially, let's just say the sports world in baseball, doesn't believe in this kind of stuff. You get to the point where there's an instant replay going on, things are being reviewed, and you have guys from 2 different teams standing on second base, arm in arm practically, looking at the scoreboard, because all this stuff really, I think, subtracts emotion from the game. The technology, more technology involved, the less emotion involved. So that part of it I don't like. So you're seeing that more today. Nobody really wants to be that group. But I didn't see the Padre Dodger exchange, by the way. I'd have to check that out. But in today, I could see Schulte Schulte with the Padres. I get that. David with the Dodgers. You know, and these are two of the better teams. You have to take your own turf, man. Nobody's going to give it to you.
Agreed. All right, let's go on to something a little bit just as crazy as throwing at guys. Rafael
Okay.
Devers, you talk about emotion. Well, this got emotional for the Red Sox and for him. How would you have handled this situation if you were the manager of the Red Sox? I mean, what's your thoughts on this? Because you've been through a lot.
Yeah, it starts in the beginning. I guess that's yogiism. You know, the moment that they knew they wanted to get Bregman, and they had a chance to get Bregman, I think that's when the dialogue needed to be created. Now, with Devers, I know that the concern there is that, well, what if we don't sign him? And we broached this subject, and all of a sudden he's going to be upset. So I'm going to talk to Devers. We might get Bregman. All of a sudden it doesn't happen. Are we going to inflict some kind of a mental injury on him because we've talked about it? There's a fairness about that point. However, if they knew they were really down the road with Bregman, this stuff was going to happen. I think at that point the conversation had to begin. So that. Number two, Bregman has to be the third baseman, no question. There's no parceling around that. The point I think where they made the mistake is to tell him to put his glove down completely. At that point there, I kind of believe I would have asked him to continue to take ground balls at both third and first base. And then beyond that, you try to get him a game, maybe once a week on defense somewhere, either at third or first, or maybe one at each place. Give Bregman a day off, give the first baseman a day off, etc., and keep this guy solvent and keep him on the field, because when you get guys that young, they just want to turn them into DHs. It's not easy. I was part of 4 outfielders with the Angels: Erstad, Salmon, Edmonds, and G.A. Garrett Anderson in the 90s. At some point there, we thought, oh, this is a great idea. One of them will DH per week. We'll give the other, so they get one day off a week, and we'll rotate it that way. It's going to be wonderful. They hated it. They absolutely hated it. When you're talking about younger players, the thought of kind of being castrated, I'm not a player anymore, I can't be on the field, bothers them a lot, and you're really slicing into ego at that point too. So those are the points that you have to be careful with. And the conversation has to be frank, has to be honest. Don't dissemble. None of the executive talk. Front office, stay out of this. Let Alex handle that. Too many chefs, not good. So there's a lot of things that went wrong with this. But from the beginning, I call Jack Ryan as a protagonist in all the Clancy novels. No, Mr. President, he wasn't your friend. He wasn't just a friend of yours. He was your best friend. Go right to it. Run towards the issue. Don't tap dance around it, because eventually it turns into Devers playing in San Francisco.
Does this feel like something that the front offices nowadays maybe overstep the manager? And did you need to keep that? Did you need to keep that at length when you were a manager? Like, hey, I need you to stay up in your front office. I'll take care of what's going on in the field, in the clubhouse. Or is that something that the game has changed since the years you've been, how long you've been in it?
The game hasn't changed. The administration of the game has changed. Yes. I mean, everybody always talks about the game has changed, and I dispute that. It's the same game. But how we're administrating it is different. And yes, when I was back in, the 80s and 90s, whatever, when I was trying to get to the big leagues, GMs were afraid to come in clubhouses. You never saw them. You never saw front office personnel in clubhouses. They did their job, which was to acquire players, keep everything rolling properly, put seats in this, put fannies, butts in the seats, et cetera, et cetera. But they weren't they were never really involved in the coaching of, the distribution of information, whatever. You had advanced scouts, you had your coaches on the team, you had your manager, who normally set the patterns for the whole organization. Now, I'm not here to tell you that was all correct. I used to get upset with that, because I thought we have a new manager with every 2 or 3 years with the Angels back in the day, and you're constantly turning over your cutoffs and relays, your first and third place. Offensively, what was important is the bunt good. Buck Rogers, like the stink play, like stealing third base on a bunt with a delay steal at second. Every manager brought his own stuff into the mix. Today, that's not true. And I like I said, I disputed that. I wanted to see more of a homogenized method of the Angels play, regardless of who the manager was. Now it's gone to the absolute opposite extreme, where the homogenization comes from the front office, and the manager pretty much is at the whim of all that, or at the edict of all that. We, as managers today, definitely is a middle manager. Gene Bach would not get a job today. Earl Weaver would not get a job today. Whitey Herzog would not get a job today. That kind of authoritarian authority figure, somebody that really knew what he wanted and what he liked, would have never been listened to. That guy would have never had this opportunity. You'd have never heard of these people if the game was administrated back then like it is now. So game is the same. The way it's being, like I said, processed on a daily basis is completely different. And so the front office is way more involved in daily conversations. Analytical departments way more involved in instruction, quite frankly. And they're down in the field before the game. They're in bullpens. They're in batting cages. Or every place they should not be. So yes, that's what's different about the game, not the game itself.
Have you ever needed to stand on business, as the kids say, when a player says something to you?
Oh,
Rob Thompson said Nick Castellanos, after he got taken out of the game, went too far. His comments went too far. And Rob Thompson was standing on business and said, you know what? You're not playing today.
I don't think I've ever told somebody he's not playing based on what he said to me. I'm pretty sure. Although I did have one situation, though, I'll go back. I'm not going to name names, but I had an issue with one player, called him in, had a couple other coaches with me so that everything I said was verified or validated, and told me he wasn't going to play until a certain thing occurred. And so I did that. But it wasn't something he had said. It's something that I did not like on the field. So that's what that was from. And then after a day or two, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm wrong. He was not wrong. He was wrong in a sense, but I was totally wrong the way I presented it to him. So I apologized to him, and I put him back in the lineup after a couple of days, because after I evaluated what I had said and the process that I went through, I thought my process was wrong even more than his was. So that happened one time. Otherwise, I've taken guys out of games for different reasons, but this always like a warning in advance. If they're breaching some of I had some really easy or no rules at all. My rule for the position players was to respect 90 feet. And my rules for the pitchers were I wanted you to work on your defense on a daily basis. Whatever that meant, just please, I want good defensive pitchers. Other than that, man, you were on your own. I'm not a big believer in rules. I think integrity has no need. There's no need of rules if you have integrity. You answer these questions to yourself. And one of my opening dialogues to all my players always was, the difference between right and wrong. You don't have to wait for me to tell you that. You grew up with some great parents. I think we all are born with this innate ability to determine what is right and what is wrong. Choose right. That's exactly what I tell my guys. So, excuse me, the situation with Rob, he had a choice there. He could have chosen not to say anything at all. He could have just taken what Nick said after the game, called him in the office, yelled at one another, and then figured it out after then. But he made up his mind to do what he did. But I do respect what he did, Robbie. That is, he was honest with the press. He didn't have to tell them exactly what was said, but he told them why Nicky wasn't playing. He didn't dissemble. He didn't give it any executive talk. And I love that about him.
What would you tell Dave Roberts about handling Shohei now that he's back pitching and hitting? Is there a difference in handling him as just a hitter versus when he has to pitch and hit?
The thing I did with him was we had a conversation every night before the next day. So after the game's over, how you feeling? The big thing he had told me early on was when we first determined that we're going to do both things with him in that spring training. He was only concerned about his legs and how his legs felt. So it was fair. It's a fair point. I said, okay. So every night, Ipe is at that time his assistant, would text Ipe or talk to Ipe, and he would go to show, and we would say, okay, what do we got for tomorrow? How are we feeling for tomorrow? Is there anything you don't want to do tomorrow? That kind of a thing. Are you good? And that would be the conversation. So the only thing I would do, here's the issue here. Don't think that you know. I mean, we don't know. We've never done what Show does. I did it in Little League, maybe twice a week, right? Never did it every day on a big league level. Played multiple positions. So nobody's ever done this. So to think that you know, or to think that there's some kind of algorithm that's going to determine what's going to prevent him from getting injured, not true. So I would just communicate with him nightly after tonight's game. We're playing tomorrow, day or whatever. Show what he got. He'd say, well, let me get to you in the morning. Get back to you in the morning, and then that's it. I'm going to go off of his conversation, because you have to understand, he is, it's an overused term, but he is the unicorn. Nobody's done what he's done before. So you have to listen to him in this situation.
What kind of answer would he give you? Would it just be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm good to go, thumbs up? Or is it would he get into it like, hey, my legs are really sore. I don't think I can give you stolen bases, but I'd love to be in the lineup. You know, how in depth would he give you?
Exactly. That's pretty accurate right there. Normally he would always be good. Show likes to play. He likes to play. And if you remember when we first did this, we didn't have the Shohei rule. So when he pitched, we played with the regular National League lineup at that time. And then once we took him out of the game, I'd put him in right field. The DH would come out of the game, and we would play we took him out of the game and had to move things around. So it was a National League game. And then once I took him out of the game, once his next at bat, I'd have to put a right fielder, but the pitcher would be in a lineup. So that's how it began. So there was a little bit more involvement. I had to be aware of how he felt taking him out of the game, like sixth inning, 5 2/3, whatever it was. Here he comes, one more at bat. You feel good enough to go out to right field right now, play an out or two, then come back and get your at bat and then be done. That was like the most difficult decision at that particular point, was how to utilize that. Otherwise, gosh, he would I think he pitched the first game of a doubleheader, and then played a DH in the second game, and no problem. He's just an incredible. His whatever he does in his workout routine, which is pretty private because you don't see a lot of him before the game. He's always doing something, but he's incredibly strong. So I can't remember, maybe once or twice I might have like asked him like strongly, because I really, come on, you got to take a break at some point. And I think he did, and I can't remember specifically when, but it was an easy conversation. He wants to play. You got to watch him, but you got to trust him.
Joe, what would you do now? I mean, he's almost 31, and there's been some surgeries, right? The elbow again, shoulder, all of that. Of course, for most baseball fans, we want to see him do this, pitch and hit, for as long as possible, because this might be the only time we get to see it for most of us in our lifetime. Would you try to see if you can talk him into an extra off day here and there, even from hitting, especially once he's built up to 5 or 6 innings? Or is it still just all, hey, you tell me how you're feeling and what you want to do? Because, I mean, the topic that our guys have brought up, obviously they haven't done both, but they're like, can it affect his hitting in any way? It didn't in the past, but can it now, surgeries and years later in his life?
Well, I think you could talk about it. I think, again, I always like to be proactive in front of the situations like this. And so you would probably try to create different potential scenarios that we might want to adjust to as this thing is in progress. But I mean, right now, that was 1 inning the other day. He probably handled that very, very well. I think once we get to the All-Star break, I think they're going to ramp him up to about 4 or 5 innings by the time he gets to the break, in an effort to get him to become more of a normal member of the rotation. After that, I think when you get post All-Star break, that's when you may want to really start checking in on things like this. But again, he will tell you, there's one thing about him, and that's what you got to do. You just establish the trust through conversation, and the fact that he gets to know you, and you know that you're being honest and upfront with him. I think that's not called for, unlikely that maybe he may require a day off after he pitches. And then who knows, they could even line it up to the point where maybe there's a day off after the day he pitches. They could be very creative with this in an effort to not miss any time on the field. So you can look at this so many different ways in regards to how you want to get this done. And maybe the schedule just runs for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then we might say, we just need you to take a day here somewhere because there's no real built-in break in the schedule. So just look at it. You always have to get in advance of this kind of stuff. And I've talked about this before. They're probably going to look at the World Series postseason and work it backward when we get right after the All-Star break, and then determine how many innings potentially he's going to pitch and how comfortable they are with that. But knowing that, they have to keep in mind next year, they're going to want to have them stretched out to a certain number so that we don't go through this same routine next year of trying to figure out how many innings we can pitch him.
So last one before we let you go. You mentioned communications and talks, and someone in the chat had a great, I think it was Mike G. He's a Cubs fan. So he wants to know, if you had such great communication, how come you couldn't get John Lester to throw over to first base?
Dude, we've tried. That was a big part of it. We did. We had special sessions out in on the Hatfield at Sloan Park. Here's what we did eventually. Okay. What bothered John more than anything? Throwing over to first base. See, well, my final determination was, John, you're never going to have to throw over to first base. This is what we're going to do instead. What we did instead was, John, you have a couple different things you can do. You could hold the ball a little bit longer. At that time, you can step off. John, you could quick pitch, or we could pitch out. Furthermore, I wanted Riz to dance back and forth off the bag and back to try to create doubt in the base runner's mind. And from home plate, whether it was Rossi or Contreras, we had really good throwers. I wanted a lot of back pitches at first base, because if the runner at first base in any way, shape, or form decides, so maybe I'm going to go, then says no, and he gets in that nowhere's land, he knows we have really good throwing catchers. Furthermore, when these runners used to get so far off because they thought they could and they became uncomfortable. They've never been that far off the bag, and they're always, regardless of they in the back of their mind, they knew Johnny would not do it. But what if we just did a quick step pitch out? He's going to be out also. So I wanted to focus on the things that he can do and felt comfortable with, as opposed to the one thing he could not do and was uncomfortable with.
That's good stuff. Joe, this was great. We always really enjoy it. Book of Joe, the pod with Joe and Tom Verducci, who we love having on here as well. It's really good stuff. Joe, thanks. Good to see you.
I appreciate it, gentlemen. Anytime, man. I'm just playing a lot of golf and growing my tomatoes. It's kind of fun.
We love that. We love that. That's what happens. You age when you manage, and then you go backwards, actually, now. Now Joe's getting younger.
You do. I'm a teenager. Dude, I'm back to 17, 18 years old. It's awesome.
I wore this shirt for you, too, today. Well, you know what this is. Yeah.
I can see it now. There you go.
Grateful Dead Expo shirt for you.
Love it, brother. Love it.
Yeah.
Thank
you,
Joe.
Joe.
You guys
Appreciate
do a great job. Keep it going. Keep it going. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well.
You
right,
too,
man.
Joe.
Take care. Thanks.
Let's do some BetMGM locks. By the way, that was good stuff. That was good. I really enjoyed that.
It was good.
We got some.
He's always good
topics from Joe. He's smart, he's super well spoken, and you just love talking to people about things that happened after the fact that you can now really unravel, which is always helpful. Locks from yesterday. AJ went big, plus 312. Didn't happen. Pap and I had the same lock. I locked it in earlier where I got a little bit better odds. Look at Kratz. Look at the heater. Plus 291 banger for Kratz. He's getting close to level. I just got myself back to a nice goose egg. Pap's up. AJ's starting to slip again. I don't know.
Don't worry. It'll turn around.
It will. It does. It's an up and down situation, and you'll go first then today. What do you got?
Oh, I got to look it up real quick. Hold on. Searching.
Hold on.
I got it. I got a big one again. Plus 260. 17.5 outs for Luis Castillo against the Red Sox. He's got to go 6 innings, which he does almost every outing.
Mm-hmm.
Phillies are going to win today. Why? Because Nick Castellanos will be back in lineup, and he is pissed off. And last but not least, over 4.5 hits allowed by Sean Burke against the St. Louis Cardinals for the Chicago White Sox.
Fading your own team.
Well, because I feel like he's going to be out there. Smith didn't go very long yesterday. They're going to need him to give him some innings. The Cardinals are swinging it all right, and they're playing the White Sox. So it's a win or it's a win.
Yep, Cardinals make contact.
Yeah, so plus 268.
Nice. Kratz?
Two money lines, put them together. I think it's paying plus 112. Phillies money line, Ranger Suarez has been throwing well, and the Marlins called a rookie up, and I'm betting on Tarek Skubal. Add them together, plus 112.
Boom. There you go. And I'll give you mine when we swing back. Coming up next, we'll do a quickie segment on a couple things from yesterday, a couple big games that stood out with good results, including one team that we're not talking a lot about yet, but they're playing ball. We'll do that in a moment. Quick hitters. Let's do a minute each. First off, this was cool. Ronald Acuña Jr. and Luis Angel Acuña saying hello, embracing over at second when Acuña actually made a sick play in this game, a sick catch in right field. And Luis Angel, who was called up last year, obviously, when they faced the Braves, didn't have Acuña, his brother Ronald, until now.
Great. It's cool. Be able to play with your brother like that. That was a great game last night. Big win for the Braves last night. Big comeback and big win, extra innings win for them. So
big knock for Marcell Ozuna, and some fans wanted Edwin Diaz in. It's like they wanted him in that pocket of the lineup.
Yeah.
Reed Garrett's been good for them this year, though.
Good for him this year. So
yeah, it just that stuff happens sometimes. Kratz.
Post game with Francisco Alvarez, he was very honest about how he told Reed Garrett to throw a different pitch than what Reed wanted to throw. And Frankie was like, I made the wrong decision. He said, and I'm pissed about it. I think Reed wanted to throw the heater, and now I forget. And he wanted the splitter. So they had the conversation, and he's like, no, I changed it. I'm the one that made the mistake. It was cool. It was cool to hear from a young catcher.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Also, by the way, Jerkson Profar rehab assignment. He'll be back July 2nd.
I just don't understand how you can go on a rehab assignment when you're suspended.
Because otherwise,
you shouldn't be able to go on a rehab assignment.
Well, then it's really more than 80 because you have to rehab.
So what? You're suspended for 80 games, and then when the 80 games starts, then you can start.
Right. I don't disagree. All right, we'll step aside. I'll talk about that other team during the break here. For the TV crowd, we'll be back with Slap Hands in a moment. All right, one more BetMGM lock to go, and it's a team that we'll talk about right after I mention the lock. Toronto Blue Jays, money line over the Diamondbacks tonight. Minus 115. We'll throw down 115 to win a hundo. See how that goes. They're facing Eduardo Rodriguez, who has been terrible this year. He's a really bad ERA, especially on the road. Also, Arizona's bullpen is in shambles. Toronto's pitching's been pretty solid on the season. Their offense is, for the most part, on fire over the past few weeks. That's vaulted them back into the playoff mix. And their offense has been smashing left-handed pitching this year. So I'll lock that in, minus 115 to win a hundo. And you can step into the batter's box with BetMGM, snag an odds boost token. Don't miss your chance at a bigger payout on your MLB bet this season. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, we have a minute here. Bo Bichette, Addison Barger, a little back-to-back action. Walk off for the Blue Jays. 3 games back of the Yankees in the AL East. Rays are 2.5 back.
Blue Jays are coming. The Rays and the Blue Jays.
Which team do you like better, Rays or Blue Jays? Rays. I like the Blue Jays. You like the Rays?
Yeah, I'm a Florida guy.
I like the Blue Jays.
Florida guy. Yeah, I like the Blue Jays better. If Bo's doing that, you need the Bo from...
You need Bo to hit.
2022, 2023, not 2024. Yeah, you need this Bo. Not the first month Bo, the second month Bo of this season. And then Barger's come out of nowhere to
Poor Shelby.
Shelby
if you haven't watched Barger,
he's been good this year.
If you haven't watched Barger hit, there is no more personification of let it eat, kid, because this guy is letting it eat every single pitch. His helmet's coming off. That was freaking awesome. But Bo, what I loved about Bo, if you watch some of the games, he's getting back to being able to hit different pitches to the opposite field and being able to drive the ball to the gaps and driving runs in. He's coming up clutch in big RBI situations for this team. And I think, obviously, Vlad's doing stretch too, but he's getting after it.
Yeah, they're finding it on offense. Barger's at 125 OPS plus 819 OPS. All right, let's slap. First off, reminder again, check out our Chat BCC. That contest is running for a few more days. Post a meme, make Kratz laugh. Try to win 2 free tickets. We just saw Ben Rice is in the lineup tonight for the Yankees at catcher. Ryan Yarbrough joins the show pretty frequently, so maybe we'll talk to Yarbs soon about it. That's what I'm saying. Yarbs gets to
you know what they probably did?
Bunny.
Yarbs is not a hard thrower. It's more of a control guy. And I think Yarbs calls his own game, doesn't he, with the pitch comp? So I think they're maybe trying to ease him in rather than give him a guy that throws a little harder and it might not call his own game, or a guy who hasn't caught in a while.
They got to bring in some relievers, and every reliever on the Yankees throws a billion. Ian Hamilton doesn't even look at you when he's going to throw. He's just like, he's full meathead mode. He's just like, just throwing fuel. Yarbrough's easy to catch. Cutter in, change up away.
That's why I put him in a position to succeed. Makes sense. On the way out, Kratz, hats.
Because I'm a Shohei hater and Dodger hater. That's why I wore the Dodgers. It's the best series right now. If you're not turning your TV set to channel Dodgers and Padres right now, you're missing out.
True. And again, that Dodgers post-game show, Dodgers territory. If you want some entertainment for 20 minutes, go for it. Anyway, we will see everyone tomorrow on FT. We're live every day, 1 to 3 Eastern.